But it was really on that day that I realized this is real. This is not a figment of our imagination. None of this is to scare people. You need to know what this stuff's about. Apple have a health warning on, I don't know how many pages in, to keep these away from the body. And how many people do you see wandering around with the phone like this? So for all of the people who are watching this out there, maybe are worried about their health or getting headaches or insomnia, joint pain, swollen lymph nodes, the list is endless. It's a contributing, or could be a contributing factor. The actual creators of these technologies, they have research programs that are sort of hidden away because they know that these things are not safe for human biology and consumption.
It's not about people thinking they've got to go back to the dark ages. We can't remove ourselves. No. What we can do is protect ourselves, and particularly children.
Let's imagine a world where everybody's protected.
So I am back with my really good friend, Kim Kindersley, and Kim and I are absolutely equally passionate about sharing some of our good friends' work about how we can all protect ourselves in this wonderful but mad world that we all find ourselves in, because a lot of the developments that we all find ourselves using, they have a lot of good points. You know, you and I are speaking to each other from the opposite ends of the world today. But equally, we do need to protect ourselves from some of the risks associated with them. So we're going to be talking about EMF protection, how it's absolutely vital, particularly for parents to understand this. But before we launch in, Kim, how are you doing? And please introduce yourself to the audience.
Thank you for asking. I'm doing very well. I'm sitting here in Bali, in Sasha Stone's beautiful New Earth haven, and it's been a chaotic day with families and kids, and there's ducks in the rice fields making noise and roosters and dogs, but everything's calmed down for now, and I feel very blessed and very lucky to be here, and life is good, and actually getting more and more passionate about all of the subjects that we talk about. And as more and more research comes in, it's like I'm really feeling a fire in the belly. I thought I'd be relaxing by this stage in my life, like my feet up, just enjoying the sunsets. But actually, I find myself doing more work than ever. But I'm enjoying the work. That's the point. So very well, thank you.
I love it. And I'm really hoping we'll have some of the animals make an appearance today. I've got 2 of my dogs and 1 cat was sharing with me. And everything we're applying to today, Kim and I are really, really passionate about animals, about empowering ourselves for health, the humans, but everything we're talking about today, for those of you that are lucky enough to share your life with animals, please remember this applies even more so to them, because we're all energy beings, aren't we, Kim? And
yes.
We know there's so many technologies. A couple of weeks ago, and I'll put the link below, Kim and I talked about the amazing bioresonance devices that are out here to really give us an extra boost to bring ourselves back into harmony, because there's a lot that's being thrown at people at the moment, and quite a bit of it is outside our control. But the EMF side of things, I think because everyone's so used to carrying one of these little devices with them, we're going to be talking about these in a minute, folks, the photonic shields. But we're all used to carrying these everywhere. And younger generations, you know, you and I can remember life before the mobile phone. But we've now got toddlers that are sitting there on the phone all the time, on a tablet all the time. Teenagers, it's a core part of most schools using this technology. And people are really unaware of, first and foremost, how it can affect their health. And secondly, what they can do to protect themselves. So how did you first get interested in this?
Look, it's a big subject. And by the way, talking about what's happened in our lifetimes, I can remember the huge excitement in the family home when the first black and white television came in. And my father was able to watch racing, that was his passion, on the telly. And then, you know, and that was, I remember my first Doctor Who, most of the time I spent it, these really kind of Rocky Daleks in black and white with the dodgy special effects was the most extraordinary event. But look where we are now. And I think this is a very, very good point. It's gone so fast, so quickly, that we just accept this and the computer and the fact that it comes through a router. And it's even to the extent of, okay, well, there goes a tower and an aerial and a thing on top of a hill. And it's just like, oh, well, that's sort of, it's ugly, but it's convenient. And no one stopped to really think about the health consequences. And you know me, I'm super positive. For me, I noticed actually, funnily enough, when I was staying in hotels, because I used to travel a lot as a movie maker. And I remember this sort of period when, suddenly the computers were there, and then we were starting to use email, and then these came in. And I started to find it really difficult to sleep in a hotel. And I started to get headaches and all of these different things. And I became aware that I was one of the people who's sensitive to EMFs. Most people are.
Yes.
But it's not just that, it's the electrosmog. So I suppose about 5 or 6 years ago, I personally started hearing about and looking into the companies that were trying to do something to ameliorate the risks. And there's a big spectrum of different things that people have used. I've had my own live blood tested, because I wanted to see for myself, in myself. So I did the thing of arriving at the live blood analysis place. Actually, it was in Switzerland, and I had my blood tested. And you know what? I was happy. I was pretty healthy. Then pick up the phone, and to the amazement, actually, of the live blood people there, my blood immediately agglutinated, immediately stuck together, immediately reacted like there was something dangerous coming at us, like on a cellular level. And then the technology sent the blood back to normal. But it was really on that day that I realized this is real. This is not a figment of our imagination. And I just have these other little moments when I think it was in Thailand, and I looked over at the table next to me, beautiful family on holiday. I think 3 kids ranging from probably 3 or 4 to maybe 12. The whole family, iPads, smartwatches, the pods. And you're just thinking, oh my goodness, they've got no idea actually what's going on here. They don't know it on a school level. And it's not just at home, where you've also got the routers, the computers, the electrosmog from the wiring. You may have a tower nearby you. I mean, again, none of this is to scare people. It's like, but you want to know what's happening. And actually, that's when I first got in touch with Dr. Deborah Davis. We're going to put the link to the Environmental Health Trust. It's a non-profit organization, a background of pediatricians looking into the health of children and the effect of these things and EMFs on not just children, but the general population. And again, it's not scaremongering. It's very much just, look, you need to know what this stuff's about. Apple have a health warning on, I don't know how many pages in, to keep these away from the body, arm's length. And how many people do you see wandering around with a phone like this, right next to the brain? And then we could go deeper and deeper. I mean, I don't want it today to be all about this, but the fact of the matter is, scientists all over the world, thousands and thousands. There are other organizations like FIRE, and this another EMF expert that our friend told us about last night, Magda Havas, who's estimating that 35% of the population is struggling with the sensitivity, and about 3 or to 10% being hypersensitive. So for all of the people who are watching this out there, maybe are worried about their health or getting headaches or insomnia, depression, fatigue, loss of libido, there's a whole list of things joint pain, swollen lymph nodes. The list is endless. It's a contributing, or could be a contributing factor. Don't take my word for it, but please, if you have, especially kids, you know, who've got lots of devices, just go and find out for yourself from one of the links that we're sharing. And from there, you can then make the informed decision. But to not find out about it, it's kind of like saying, oh, you know, I'm just going to carry on smoking. You know, that's your choice. I mean, everybody now knows there's a link between smoking and cancers and heart disease and various other things. Then it's your choice to continue doing it or not. And for me, this is the passion. And I see a time where schools are protected, where hotels actually have signs saying EMF protected venue, or health clubs or gyms. It's already started, by the way, in some cities in Europe, and some companies are already doing this. And I believe that it will become commonplace in the not too distant future. I also know for a fact from researchers that the big phone carrier companies have huge legal funds ready for the class action lawsuits that are coming up. This is not me fantasizing. This is a reality. The as big a scandal that came with cigarettes, asbestos, and then glyphosate is coming with the use of mobile phones. It just is. So that's the starting point.
I so agree with everything you say there. Now, I used to work for Nokia in the environmental department for a long while, and I worked for the base station side of Nokia. So these companies have been researching this for a long while. But equally, 20, 25 years ago, when I was doing a lot of this research with the company, they didn't have the technology to measure the health impacts. And also, they didn't have the long-term data, because obviously everything was pretty new and technology is moving forward so quickly. But it's a cumulative effect as well, because a lot of people now have got smart meters in their phones. So I'm going to run through some of the devices in a minute with everyone. But the thing is a lot of people, you know, they don't have choice. So my daughter's living in a rented flat at the moment, so is my son. And of course, they're exposed to a lot. So they've got the home device with them, because I can turn off the Wi-Fi in my house, but they can't turn off the Wi-Fi in their flat.
Right. Good point. Good point.
So smart meters, we know have there's so much research on smart meters and the effect they have. And the thing is, one of the other things that people are, a lot of my audience are very well educated, but with this interview is going on YouTube, so we're going to be really careful what we say. But a lot of people are concerned about graphene oxide at the moment and the different ways that that's been introduced into our body. I'm going to put a link below to a link for a video talking about titanium implants in teeth. When we're looking at heavy metals, and we all know with chemtrails and toxins everywhere in our food supply and our air and our water, we're these heavy metals, the graphenes, the titaniums, where all of these amplify and almost act as an amplifier for these signals in our body. And there's one video I'll be linking below where some health experts are explaining the effect of someone who had titanium implants in their teeth and then became very EMF sensitive. So these things are out there, and a lot of the time people don't know, is it mold exposure, is it EMF, is it toxins, is it microbiome? And the truth is, normally it's all of them. So if we can protect ourselves from the bits that we can control, then we don't need to worry so much about the bits that we can't control, because our bodies are very, very resilient. One of the things that really shocked me, Kim, is how much more exposure there is about when you're using your phone in a car, and electric cars even more so. And how many times do we see children or people, and I'm guilty of this, but I do have the protection on my phone and always have it with me, the protection, is how many people do we see with children using tablets in the car? And when you're moving in a car, and we'll link the videos below, what happens is, because your phone or the tablet is constantly picking up the signal as you're moving, you're getting these increased pulses coming through all the time, which makes it even more harmful on the body.
Right. You've done your research. It's really, really having a massive impact, and it's the moving around in cars is vital. And then, of course, you're driving past these massive towers, and so you're getting that big impact as well. I know sometimes here I'd be driving, and you can see a list of networks that's sometimes like 100. So you're actually getting all of these other potential networks that you're not actually hooking into, but the signal is there. It's in the field, and so it's it's like imaginary kind of wave lines that are happening everywhere, and then you're in the middle of it as a kind of receiver, because that's what this is, this phone. It's like an antenna. So this is so important, that people first of all really get educated about what you've just spoken about. Check the science, really look at it. There are these wonderful things. I mean, I remember, I think it goes back as far as 2011, if I'm correct, that the first really big, the World Health Organization actually, designated mobile phones and EMFs as a group to be possibly carcinogenic to humans in 2011. Whether we're a fan of the WHO or not, the fact is that was their admission. And they put out this report on the Bio Initiative report, again, going all the way back to 2011. And I know this professor, I think from Columbia University, is on the Environmental Health Trust board. He made an appeal to the United Nations on behalf of families and children. Please, can we have a moratorium? Please come look at the science. We're not saying to people, stop. You can get around wireless, do it wired, restrict the amount of time that your children are online, which is a healthy thing anyway, because of exactly, there you go. There are mental health issues. It's healthy. I've got a friend with children, and he allows his kids to watch one program a day at, I don't know, an hour and a half, and that's it. No other phone use at all. And so that's the starting point. At night, turning off the equipment. So this is very important for people to know, that the first step, education, then do all of the things that you can do to reduce drastically your exposure. And then, having said all of that, we don't expect everybody to have zero exposure. And that's where these amazing, the shields come in. And from my experience with all the different things out there, there are stickers and all sorts of claims being made, but these are very powerful, and they come from the research and a company that also is doing this. So it's got a real science background. And the other thing is, people say, well, does it stop the signal? And the answer is, well, no, it doesn't stop the signal. What it's doing is it's taking the signal, rather like noise reducing headphones, and then putting out its own frequencies that take the signal and convert them into something that's biologically non-harmful in the body. And people say, well, how do you know that? Well, the certification is there. And again, we can put that link. It's all on the website. So again, it's very important that you do your research. But this is probably the strongest. It's not the only one, but amongst the strongest in the world at the moment, that has been looked at by science labs and has been given a certificate as being helpful for the protection in 5G and indeed 6G, actually up to 6G.
Yeah. Now, what I want to share with people, because Kim and I are really passionate about doing our research. And as we say, there are others out there. What we're encouraging everyone to do is check with the company that they can actually prove the efficacy and have got the certification. So on my website, the link will be below. You can then watch this video that Kim and I did with Caroline Mansfield. Now, Caroline Mansfield is an amazing naturopath and expert in live blood analysis. And she has actually completely, tested the impact. You will see videos there. You'll see results there for use of AirPods, your phone, smartwatches, you name it, tablets, and really the blood does not lie.
So let me just show you the very first test we did. This was with an iPhone or a smartphone. And this was the test subject's blood after the room orientation phase. So when we're looking at red blood cells, we want them to be lovely and round and roughly the same shape and size. We don't want them to be attracted to each other, so they can flow around the body and deliver their oxygen and nutrients and take away waste products. And probably people have heard me say this many times. And this is what keeps our body healthy, at cellular level. It doesn't matter how many nutrients you put into your body. If your blood isn't flowing to deliver these nutrients and oxygen and take away waste products, then we're going to have a problem. And then we asked the test subject to go on her phone just for 20 minutes. And I asked her to put the phone up to her head so we get a good contact with the phone, with the body. And after 20 minutes, this was her blood. And, you can see immediately the changes from the initial blood sample. And we can see now that the blood is actually sticking together. What these EMFs have done is they've changed what we call the zeta potential in the blood. But not only that, with some of these images, you can see that the red blood cells have actually got oxidative damage by the EMFs, where it's affected the structure of the cells. There's a lot of sort of rugged and ragged edges, which we would call kilocytes. And this is indicative of oxidative stress in the blood. So the blood's been affected at cellular level. So I was really shocked by that. So I asked the client to go back on her phone, but this time to put the photonic card, the photonic square into the cover of the phone, just so it's next to the phone, and go back on her phone for 20 minutes. And we took her blood after 20 minutes. And then this was her blood at that point. Wow. So now you can see that the blood is no longer coagulated. The card has protected her body from these EMFs. And this is another picture.
Wow.
Wow.
So I was astounded by this. But this is, the picture that we do get when people are in contact with EMFs.
If you've got another device, which there's lots out there, I know a lot of people use shungite, go and find a naturopath that does live blood analysis. There's a lot of them around. I know another really good one in Canada. Then please get your blood tested so that you can see whether your device is working or not. Or if you can't do that, make sure your company have got this work done, because there's a lot of information out there, and these are what we would call the silent killers, so to speak. These things that are affecting us and we can't see. So we can't see the toxins that are coming down in the chemtrails from the sky. We can't see the toxins that are in our water or the effect of the EMF. However, we can test for these things now using these novel ways that instantly show how our bodies are reacting. So when you go through to the site, you will see there's 20% off all products. And when you go through to the Biophotonic site, there is so much research and education on there, and they are literally improving this all the time. So last week, a couple of weeks ago, Kim and I spoke about the BioNexus and the Biophotonic, and all of this lovely technology is really looking at bringing your body, your animal's bodies back into resonance, bringing it back into harmony, into homeostasis. But on the EMF side of things, all of these devices will protect against EMF, but we have got the Photonic Shield here, which is a card that you can carry around in your pocket. I actually have a little clip-on pouch, because us ladies don't often carry wallets, and our pockets are smaller and we can't carry stuff. So I clip this out, I put mine in here and clip it onto my belt, because I do have to confess, I did have one in the back pocket of my jeans and I lost it on a dog walk. So you don't be doing that. Men who have wallets, you can put it in your wallet like Kim has there.
I've got a double one. I used to have all sorts of different credit cards, but now it's mainly Photonic Shields in my wallet. Look, I've got two. And we could talk about that later. But the great thing is, whenever I go out, it's with me. When I'm at home, I can easily take it out, put it on my computer, put it beside the bed. And, you know, I was saying to someone the other day, I literally do not go anywhere without it. I would be in a panic if I went anywhere without it, especially, for example, when I'm traveling on when I know I'm traveling on an airplane. Oh my goodness, talk about radiation on a plane. Then you can really feel the way that it's protecting you. So yeah, that's a great way. You can take it in the car, then you put your wallet in the car, or you can just have one specially designated for the car. So they're very, very versatile. Amazing things. So yeah, that's that one.
So these cards, and they last for absolutely ages. You know, this isn't something you're having to replace every year. So please, please, please have a look at these and be creative. If you're like me and you lost one of the put it in something that you can actually, they're so thin. Yeah.
It's thin, but as you can see, that's quite chunky in the sense that it's got all the information and the frequencies stored in there. Whereas if you get a sticker thin one, they're just not as powerful. You just cannot store as much information that way. So that's it. They're very solid.
Very robust. You're not going to break them. Then we've got the photonic square here, which is the ones that we've got on our phones. I know I'm in the corner of the screen here, but these you can put attached to your phones, to your tablet, to your laptop, etc. And it's on there all the time. Absolutely fantastic. And again, please go and look at the video below from Caroline, where she really shows the impact on the results. I mean, you'll be horrified when you see the AirPads and the smartwatches and things. And then we've got the photonic wave machine here, and you can look all these up on the website, which protects the whole home or the whole office or the whole gym or whatever. So this at the moment is in my daughter's flat. So all the information is there. There's research tabs, education tabs, and these tabs are being updated all the time. So you can access that all through my website. The link will be below. And as Kim and I find more research, I will be adding it to the research tab of my website as well. Because the beauty is now is, despite all the censorship, more people are talking about this. So as you were saying, Kim, it's not about people thinking they've got to go back to the dark ages. We can't remove ourselves from this technology anyway, because even if you choose to not have it in your home, if you're out and about anywhere, you're going to be exposed to it. But what we can do is protect ourselves, and particularly children. Now, this is something you're really passionate about with some of the other work you do, Kim. Talk us through a little bit about your passion for sharing this education far and wide.
Well, we have a serious plan, and the idea should be, and I thought this up a long time ago, that we need to work with global foundations, because they're in the best position to share scientific based information, educational programs. And I became an ambassador to the White Feather Foundation. I think I've been about 2 years now, and I've been a friend of Julian Lennon's for many years. We've produced movies together, Whale Dreamers. Julian's made wonderful films about the soil and regenerative agriculture. He's very interested in the indigenous stories, but also education, and his beautiful mum, Cynthia. He has a scholarship, an educational program for girls in America. You know, so he does quite a varied list of things around the world. And what I love about the organization is that it's not top heavy. It's about working with pre-existing organizations. So at the moment we are talking and going into detail with Dr. Deborah Davis and the Environmental Health Trust. Now, I don't know the outcome of this yet, but the reason I'm bringing it up is that we're really serious here, that the first step in all of this is the education. Yeah. Because if every mum on this planet knows that these things are not healthy for their children, and well, there's a mental aspect, yes, but it's on a physiological, biological level. And this will be proven out, I believe, in the mainstream, and I think it's becoming more and more so. So what we're offering is protection there. But I see a time where with a group like that, we can really, especially in America, get this information out so that people can take it on board that these things are not healthy, reduce the amount of use, most importantly, get protection, harmonization to protect their families and their friends, understand that children are at most harm because their brains are still growing, and that on a cellular level, it's still kind of, if you like, information. Obviously, for pregnant women, this is absolutely vital. Yes. Vital when the human embryo is growing in a zone that's free of these kinds of stresses. So all of these things, that's our first passion, is to get this educational program off the ground. And why I bring it up now, I'm a great believer in manifestation. We speak it and it will be done. And I know that Julian would not be upset with me at all for me saying that he's very, very passionate about helping people all over the world. And this is another arm of how we're going to help. It's really important. And by then, another network and another network. So then the whole, I imagine a time when it's, if a school doesn't want to do it, the parents get together in a school and say, okay, let's say it's the wave or whatever else they want to use to protect that school, their children. They all get together, 100 parents, and chip in or whatever, form a little committee, and they make sure that that school becomes EMF protected or harmonized or whatever you want to call it. But why shouldn't a gym do the same thing? Hotels, why not the same? I believe that what we're doing and what we're talking about today will become so commonplace, but it's up to people like us to get the conversation going, because everybody's so stressed. There's so many problems in the world, the difficult financial times for people. It's so stressful. But in the meantime, everybody's carrying on using these things. So we really, really want to draw attention to this. And let's imagine a world where everybody's protected. And hopefully down the track, the actual creators of these technologies, and we know for a fact that they have research programs that are sort of hidden away in various places where they're trying to figure this stuff out for themselves, because they know that these things are not safe for human biology and consumption. So, it's like, I really want this to be not a warning, but just an encouragement for education. And then, come on, let's roll up our sleeves, work together, and find ways to protect ourselves, our families, our kids, and, and on all matters, live in a better world. I mean, we could get onto the food and a whole bunch of other subjects, all the same thing. Why are we not creating a world that's free of toxicity? And I mean that on every level.
Yeah, you couldn't have said it better. Now, what people can do straight away, have a look at the link and the devices, because you get 20% off. The other thing that's key, and there's so many videos I'm going to be linking. I'll put them all on the research tab on my site, you'll find the link to that below the video. But key thing, women, never ever put your mobile phone in your bra. It sounds silly for men, but we do it because we don't have big pockets to put them in and things. So do not put that. Breast tissue is fat and water. We all know if you cook fat and water, it cooks a lot quicker. There's studies in the research papers that have shown about how dangerous this is. Men, do not put it in your pocket. It has a huge impact on sperm and reproduction and motility. There's research that's shown what's done with pregnant women. So the key thing you can do is do not carry the phone in your body. Use wired earphones. Do not use AirPods. Do not use Bluetooth, etc. whenever you can. And again, it's about doing what you can and protect yourself. In the car, if you've got children watching something on the car, download it onto the device and put the device on airplane mode, so it's not constantly trying to pick into the signal. So there's lots of good tips, and the research was showing before that everyone could do straight away. Never let a child sit with a tablet on their lap. Do not let them do it. Make them at the very least sit at a table so it's not on their physical body, because even this distance is huge. So lots of great tips. I'd love the audience to let us know, Kim, what other information. Kim and I are happy to come back and do more. We're really passionate about getting this message out. And don't forget your animals are subject to this as well. So let us know in the comments below what questions you've got, what other topics you'd like to see us talk about, and we'll be very happy to come back. But the beautiful thing is the companies that we work with are really out there doing so much at the forefront of the research to make sure that their claims are backed up and that, you know, it does what it says it does on the tin, as the saying goes.
You know what's extraordinary as we're speaking? I mean, you couldn't make this up, but this is how the universe works. There have not been kids in this house for months.
Yeah.
And right, I don't know whether you can hear the kids playing in the background. There's a beautiful family here. And, you know, they're playing away in the next door room. I said, look, I'm doing a podcast at 4, if you don't mind keeping the volume down a bit. But and it's just so fantastic that this noise, the noise of the children playing next door is feeding into the energy of this podcast. That's why we're doing it. And as you were speaking, here's the Bion photonic shield results, testing results. It was done actually in 22. I wanted to just confirm that. And it says, based on the results of the testing, the protective influence of the product photonic shield on human organism against radiation emitted by mobile phone in 5G met all the criteria required to obtain the certificate. And you can check it out. They're very high criteria. Very, very few companies have this kind of certification. And it's very important that whatever direction you go in, that you have that kind of efficacy in the background and the science in the background. So, and maybe just for fun, this device doesn't just protect us and harmonize us. You can use it, you can put a drink or water on it, and it energizes water, clears water, ups the frequency of water, food, supplements. It's fantastic. It improves the efficacy of a supplement. And there is a really fun thing to do if you were to buy 2. You can put one in your left or right hand and the other on the opposing foot underneath your foot, and you will actually feel the energy of the devices and the frequencies moving through the body, and they clear the meridian channels, and actually quite a few more things. But I just thought I'd mention it, that they're really multifaceted and very, very powerful bits of kit. And this is just the beginning, because we're not stopping this, and we're really, really going to spread the news far and wide.
I love it so much. When I used to do all my in-person, I know that you do a lot of in-person breathwork courses and things. I can't wait to come and experience one of those myself. But these in-person things are so great. So try these things out. Let us know feedback. Let us know questions. Yeah. Spread the news with your friends and family. All the links will be below, which will point you to the research tabs where you can pick up what you want. Watch that video with Caroline Mansfield. She's amazing. You know, this company really do their work. There are others out there that do it too. Just make sure you're supporting the companies that are really supporting you with the evidence that their products actually work. Kim, thank you so much. I always love talking to you so much. I know you've got some very exciting things in the pipeline, so I'm sure we'll be back again very, very soon. Any final words from you?
Well, look, just it's fantastic that we get together and we scratch the surface. And even when we scratch the surface, there's so much to share. And I think my final thought is this: I love the idea of this planet, you know, step by step, being the sovereignty of our health and the health of our families, one family at a time. So I just had this, like, get together with other parents at a school, for example, get the schools safe. Imagine if that revolution happened.
Oh, just fantastic.
So, you know, speak to your gym owner, speak to the hotel, you know, we need to do this together. So that's my overriding message, is like, we're in this together, let's do it together. And I really look forward to coming back and sharing more great things with you and with the audience. So
I love it. This is the true meaning of community. Club together, get your children protected, get the key areas where they spend a lot of time protected. Us as well, we, you know, as parents, protect ourselves. But also just remember, we take our energy with us everywhere we go. Let's make sure that energy is harmonized. Thanks so much, Kim. We'll be back again soon. Put your questions below, everyone. We really want to hear your questions. Thank you.
Much love. Thank you. Thanks for having me on, and we'll speak again soon.
Bye.
Thank you so much for taking the time to listen. And if you feel inspired, please do share with your friends and family. My goal is to inspire as many people as I can to live their best lives, to stay curious, and to raise their consciousness and that of the collective. So to do this, I need to reach as many people as possible, and this needs your help. If you feel drawn, would you be willing to share your favourite episode with 5 different people? This helps us spread the word and also helps me encourage some exciting new guests to take part in this podcast. If you feel drawn to do that, I will be very, very grateful. All the links and discount codes where applicable for all the products that I support are on my 2 websites, CatherineEdwards.life and CatherineEdwardsAcademy.com. All of the products are personally tried and tested by me, my family, and my clients. And finally, please do press the follow or subscribe button, depending which platform you're listening on. And above all, stay curious and stay free.